In this video, you will learn about system navigation, how to move from one location in your file system to another. Here, we will learn three basic commands. The ls command, which helps you to list the contents of a directory. The cd command, which helps you to move from one directory to another. And the pwd command, which prints the name of the current working directory. Let us start with the ls command and see how that is done in the terminal. I am using Windows, and because of that, I am using Git Bash for Windows for this tutorial. This is because Windows does not have an inbuilt interpreter for the commands that we'll be using. The commands in this course are all cross-platform. If you don't have Git Bash for Windows installed on your Windows computer, you can click on this video on your left to see how you can install Git Bash for Windows. So to open this directory using Git Bash for Windows, you right click on the directory, Git Bash here, you open it. This opens the terminal. To list the contents of this directory, we write ls and hit enter. If you want to list all the contents of this directory, including the .hide.me file that we have in this directory, remember in the file structure, we have a file there called .hide.me. But you notice we don't see the file called .hide.me.txt. This is because in the Linux system, any file that starts with a dot is considered a hidden file. To see a hidden file, we need to pass in an option, ls, and that option is -a. This current directory, we hit enter. Now you see that we have the .hide.me.txt file here. Now it is visible. Compare it with this command, ls without any option and ls -a. How do we know these options for the commands? To know this, you type the command --help. For all the commands that we will be learning in this course, this is how you get the options. The command name --help, and you hit enter. It gives you all the options and tells you what the command does. ls -a, the one that we just used. Remember here, ls, we didn't have entries starting with dot. Here you can notice that we have $/$. These are implicit directories. For each time you use ls and the -a option, you will have the $/ and $/. The $/ simply means current directory, and the $/ means parent directory. To list the contents of this directory using this notation, you can also do ls $/. You see that this is also the same as just ls without any argument, because $/ is the current directory. And if you see in the documentation here, it says that list the information about the files, the current directory by default. It means if you don't pass any option, then the current directory is assumed. There is another option that I would like you to pay attention to, which is the -r option, recursive. If we pass the -r option, we will list all the subdirectories and their contents. Let's try that. I will clear my screen, clear, and hit enter. This clears the screen. That's another command that I use very frequently. I will use it a lot during this course. It's ls -r, current directory. Now it lists the subdirectories recursively. This is the current directory. It has two subdirectories and a file. We can also pass many options together. You see here that in this parent directory, the current directory, we have the current directory symbol and the parent directory. The parent directory of Terminal Essentials is the desktop. And the parent directory of lesson 1 is Terminal Essentials. The parent directory of lesson 2, you can guess that. What do you think it is? Of course, Terminal Essentials it is. Another way to list the contents of a directory explicitly, if you want to list the contents of lesson 1, you type ls. Let us use the -a option that we've just seen, and then list the contents of lesson 1. We can also list the content of lesson 2 and lesson 1 at the same time, like so. ls -a, give me the content of lesson 1 and lesson 2. You've just seen how we used the ls command, how to list the files in the current directory, and how to list the files in a specific directory. Before we proceed to the other commands, I would like you to understand something. This is the general syntax of all commands. You have the command, the option, and the argument. Our next command in system navigation is cd, change directory. Let's go into the terminal and see how this is used. Let's see the contents of the directory. We already learned about the ls command. Let us go into lesson 1. Let us navigate into lesson 1 as we do in the graphical user interface. Here we double click on lesson 1 and go inside. How do we accomplish this on the terminal? You do cd, change directory, and you pass the argument, lesson 1. Now you see this line has changed to this one. We have gone one step down, lesson 1. And we can use what we already know, ls. We see that we have just one file. Let us see if there is any hidden file. There is no hidden file. What you have note is the fact that these options can be combined without the minus symbol, like so. It works the same as you can also list the content of a directory if you have the path. For example, if you want to list the content of the parent directory, we use this implicit symbol for the parent directory. Let us also pass those nice options. This is the same as us being into Terminal Essentials and passing ls-a without this argument. We can move to a sibling directory by, for example, if we want to move into lesson 2, assuming that we are here into lesson 1, we want to go into lesson 2, you have to click Terminal Essentials, you double click lesson 2 and go inside and maybe do something here. Create a file or delete this file, or open this file, add some content. In the terminal, this is simple as cd. Remember, this is the parent directory. Now we are one way back. Now we are here into Terminal Essentials. We know that we have lesson 2, as we see. Here we have lesson 2. We know that it is there. Lesson 2. Now we have moved from lesson 1 into lesson 2 from the terminal. One step back. We can actually move from lesson 1 to the desktop. So one step back, you are in Terminal Essentials. If you move one step back, you will be in the desktop. Remember the syntax? For the cd command, we have special cases. If you write cd without any argument, it takes you to your home directory. If I type cd with minus, it takes you to the previous directory. Recall, we were here. When you cd without any option, it took us to the home directory. Cd with minus, it took us to the previous directory. The last command in this series is the pwd command. This one only prints the current working directory. It prints the absolute path. This is the absolute path.